All right, let's jump right in. We're always told that to get big results, you need to make these massive, earth-shattering changes. But what if that's not the whole story? What if the real secret to incredible, long-lasting success isn't about giant leaps, but about tiny, consistent steps? Well, today, we're going to explore the philosophy that proves just that, Kaizen. Really think about that question. It kind of flips that whole go big or go home idea on its head, doesn't it? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. This powerful concept of how making things just 1% better every single day can lead to something truly amazing. So, what exactly is Kaizen? Well, the word itself is Japanese for change for the better. You've probably heard it mentioned in business circles, especially with lean management, and for good reason. It was famously used by Japanese companies to rebuild after World War II. But honestly, its power goes way beyond the factory floor. It's really a mindset, a belief that a whole bunch of small, smart improvements, when you do them over and over, add up to huge, sustainable results down the line. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the contrast. We need to be super clear about what Kaizen isn't. It's not innovation in the way we usually think about it. That sudden, dramatic breakthrough, that one huge project that changes everything overnight. Kaizen is, well, it's the total opposite. It's all about that daily, consistent grind. It's less about obsessing over the final score and more about perfecting the process, because it knows that a better process is always going to give you a better result. Okay, so how do you actually make this happen? It's definitely not as simple as just putting a suggestion box in the break room. It's a whole philosophy, a whole culture. So let's break down the core pieces that really make it tick. The whole system really stands on these three pillars. First, and this is huge, everybody gets involved. Kaizen is built on the idea that the people actually doing the work are the real experts on how to improve it. Second, there's this relentless hunt for muda, which is the Japanese word for waste. And we're talking about any kind of waste. Wasted time, wasted materials, even wasted motion, like walking across the shop floor 100 times a day for a tool. And third, you don't just put a Band-Aid on problems, you solve them for good by digging deep to find out what's really causing them in the first place. All right, this all sounds pretty good in theory, right? But what does it actually do for a business? Let's get into it and see how this way of thinking creates a serious strategic advantage in the real world. And oh man, if you want to see Kaizen in action, there is no better example than Toyota. The Toyota production system is legendary for a reason, and its success wasn't built on some single brilliant invention. Nope, it was built piece by piece over decades of applying these exact principles every single day. And just look at what that created. It's like a chain reaction. By empowering every single employee to make things a little bit better, Toyota achieved incredible quality, they slashed their costs, and of course, their customers were thrilled. But it also unlocked this amazing, widespread sense of innovation, not just from a few people in an R&D lab, but from thousands of employees on the floor. And when people feel like their ideas matter, you guessed it, morale goes through the roof. So if we zoom out from just Toyota, the benefits for any company are pretty clear. Kaizen is the engine for sustained long-term growth. It makes a company way more adaptable because it's always fine-tuning how it operates. And just like we saw with Toyota, when your employees feel engaged and valued, they stick around. That means way lower turnover, which saves a ton of money and headaches. So we've covered the what and the why. Now for the really fun part, the how. Think of these 7 principles as the practical, day-to-day rules of the road for making continuous improvement actually happen. Okay, so these are the absolute fundamentals. Obviously, small improvements are number 1. But that second point, involving all employees, that's revolutionary. It says expertise isn't just locked away in the corner office. Number 5 is also critical. When you find an improvement that works, you standardize it. That way, you lock in the gains and don't slide back into old habits. But for me, number 6 is the secret sauce. Using data. That's where you get tools like the 5 whys. You literally just ask why 5 times to get past the surface level symptoms of a problem and find the real root cause. It turns you into a detective, not just a firefighter. So the crucial point is, Kaizen isn't just a switch you flip on. It's a skill. It's a competency you develop over time. And just like any other skill, you can actually get better at it, moving from a total beginner to an expert with deliberate practice. And you can actually see the progression here. When you're just starting out, at a basic level, maybe you can just spot waste. As you get to intermediate, you're not just spotting it, you're actively suggesting ideas and using simple tools like the plan, do, check, act cycle to test them out. Then, at the advanced level, you're not just playing the game, you're leading the charge. You're running improvement events and teaching others how to do it. So take a look. Where do you see yourself on this chart right now?
And here's your roadmap for leveling up. Yeah, read the books, that's a great start. But the real magic is in the doing. Try personal Kaizen. Pick one small habit and try to improve it by just 1% each day. And step 4 is my absolute favorite. Go to the Gemba. It's a Japanese term that means the real place. Don't just trust reports or spreadsheets. Go see with your own eyes where the work actually happens. That's where the best ideas are hiding. And finally, track your progress. Celebrating those small wins isn't just fluff. It builds the momentum you need to make those huge, lasting changes.
And that really brings us to maybe the most powerful part of this whole idea. This isn't just for big companies. The exact same principles can help you build better habits in your own life. We're talking about your health, your learning, your relationships. It's a universal toolkit for getting better. So it all comes down to this one simple, very personal question. Forget about redesigning your entire life for a moment. Just think about the smallest possible step you can take. What's your 1% improvement for today?